All right, so let's talk about the third category of folks who are who have graduated successfully, and then they also got a job, maybe campus interview, maybe off the campus job, and have been working there for 1 2 years now. So that's great. I mean, it's hard enough to find a job in India, I suppose, and I think working successfully for a couple of years is great. And I do think that there is a large category of these folks in this day and age who want to move abroad and do their education and also settle down. While it's not a bad idea, I do think there is a pros and cons of making that move at that stage in your life. So, a couple of things, right? It's good to disrupt your steady state life. You're going to work, making a good salary, have friends, you eat out and whatnot. It's good to disrupt that and go back to education and study and then find a job. But if you're but I think one more thing to think about. But I think one of the important things to think about is how much of this higher education and working abroad is really going to get you that elevated job position than actually continuing to work for 2 more years and getting that job, right? So there's this interesting concept of OJT, right? On the job training, OJT, right? So I don't know why I said that twice. So the on the job training is very, very valuable, which effectively really teaches you a lot of things that sometimes educational degrees will not teach you that. And I think what's important there is that can translate to getting a higher paid job. So let's say you thought of going abroad, 2 years of masters, but instead of that you decided to continue to do your job or take another job and work for 2 more years. So now in total you have 4 years of work experience in India as a software. Let's say you're a software developer. You have 4 years of work experience as a software developer. That's a good job. At that point you will get a really good job in an MNC company in India and have really high pay. And I think that actually is a little bit more promising and tempting in my view as of today in 2023 to pursue that route and potentially even look into trying to make your startups, then actually come down here to do your masters and go through the whole job search, H1B lottery system and all of these things to find a job that starts you out at, again, an average pay. One thing to remember, and I will talk about this in the next category as well, is that the work experience that you have in India does not really get counted in the US. So US jobs, they don't really look at your Indian work experience. And I think it's very important to remember that if you're counting on, hey, I have 2 years plus work experience working for an amazing Indian company or an amazing MNC, but it is based in India, right? Let's say I've been working for Microsoft in India, and I'm going to come down here and hopefully I'll get awesome jobs at Facebook. It does not really work that way. And the moment they see that you have India experience, it kind of nullifies things quite a bit. Now, some people may have had different varying experiences with this because they may be naturally talented, and that's fine. But generally, what I've seen is that Indian work experience is not necessarily counted towards, counted equally to the American work experience. Now, should you decide that I don't want to continue to work for 2 more years, I really want to come back and do my master's, I think it's important to understand that once master's teaches you a lot, right? Master's degree itself, but I don't think it teaches you more than what your job is going to teach you, what the projects you're doing are going to teach you. If in your job you're taking very complex projects and you are achieving quite a bit, that's a lot more education than master's. Now the story changes if you say, I want to settle abroad. If your goal is to settle abroad, then my recommendation is do well in your job and get your job to send you abroad. Okay, and I think it's important for people to understand to let their career take them places rather than going places to search for a career. right? And I think that's a very important distinction, and a lot of people ignore that part, right? A lot of people that I also know personally have let their jobs continue in India, and then they've established enough respect and reputation in the jobs where they basically told the companies, look, if you're not going to send me to United States, I'm going to resign and move on. And the companies basically send them to the US. And you've known this, there are a lot of people do this. And that is a much better situation to be in than actually go, stop earning, go to the US, do your master's, 2 years of fees, 2 years of working at part-time jobs, 2 years of pain, and then again 2 more years of anxiety with the visa, with the job process and all of that. So I think if my recommendation is, if you're already a student who's graduated and who's already working, have about a couple of years of work experience and thinking of going abroad, my strong recommendation would be to validate against all options that you have. If continuing to work in India for 2 more years is more valuable than getting your master's for 2 years and then trying to find a job, because getting your master's for 2 years and then finding a job is not a guaranteed thing. Maybe working in India for 2 more years and then building your resume, building your experiences is a much better shot than coming abroad and trying to take this risk. Okay, now let's talk about the fourth category, the most interesting one, and the one that I have a lot of questions that come by is, hey Ranjit, I've been working in this company, tech company, for over 5 years, over 6 years, over 7 years. I want to come do my master's, right? All of a sudden. Or I want to move abroad, because like dollars mein kamana hai, like life is so good, and it's just, I can travel, I can do all of this, I can save more, and all of these things that they talk about, right? So for this fourth category, my biggest advice would be, don't do it. not because I don't want you here. I think it's because you're already on the path of a well-established job with good reputation, good lifestyle. You have a big social structure, and you're probably also getting good pay, right? And I'm talking about those in technology. Now, for the folks who are not in technology but they still have good jobs, like all the other fields that are non-technology fields, sales, marketing, whatever, I still think you should continue to focus and do better at your jobs and kind of really build on what you've built on so far, the foundations that you've laid, because master's degrees are like MBAs, okay? Kind of, sort of, okay? Now, hear me out on this. If you have good, valuable experience, a master's degree may not be useful at all, just like an MBA is not useful at all if you have good valuable experience. Aapko like naam ke vaste, right, namesake, you could get it, but does it really bring you more value than an actual job experience? No, right? If I am an employer and if I'm going to hire if I'm going to hire one person and there's two people applying, one has a master's degree and the other has good, solid, real life work experience, then I'll go for the good, solid, real life work experience person, not the person with the master's degree or not the person with the MBA. So if you have a few years of experience in India and you're continuing to do well, you have no problems and you're actually doing well, you just feel like you should be earning in dollars because it's a lot more money that you'll be saving. So my strong recommendation and advice is not to break the flow that you're in, but rather be innovative in that flow. I gave the advice of letting your careers take you places than you going places to search or change careers. So stay with that. What that really means, as in reality, what that should really mean in a day-to-day thing is to have that straightforward and frank conversation with your manager. If your manager really appreciates who you are and what you do, then and values the amount of work that you bring to the table and the amount of work you actually get done, then you should be able to talk to your manager and say, hey, look, my goal is to actually move abroad and build my life abroad. And I'll tell you some of the benefits of taking that approach. Now, if the manager really is very encouraging and the company is an MNC and potentially has opportunities all across the globe, and you pick a place saying you have the option to pick a place, Europe, Americas, whatever, then guess what? Compare this life where your company says, hey, you are going to, we need you, we found you a role in America, so next January 2024 we need you to report in New York on this office. Your visa is done, we will take care of your visa papers and everything. Typically when companies do that, so get this, day one when you land in the US, your salary will be in US dollars. So you won't have to worry about money, okay? You won't have to worry about food, you won't have to worry about housing, because typically when companies send you abroad, at least for the first 60 days to 180 days, that is 2 months to 6 months, depending on the company, they will give you fully furnished apartment housing for free, okay? So it gives you time to look for another place. So that's great, because now you can actually go and slowly adapt to a new culture, a new country, right? Now compare this to you being a student. You resign from your 30 lakh per year job or 50 lakh per year job and you're going to do your masters. You don't have any money, okay? You don't have a salary. Yes, you have savings, but you don't have salary. You're spending your savings on finding an apartment. You're living with maybe roommates that you don't like. You're eating food that you probably won't enjoy. Now, the difference is the company can provide you food vouchers and whatnot, right, or some sort of an allowance that will allow you to actually go outside and spend. But it's it's very different when you're spending your own money, your own savings, right? It's only limited amount, and you also have added pressure as a student that after your 2 years of education is done, you need to find a job, and then don't forget the whole H1B drama, right? So I think it's much better. You're coming in from a position of strength when you actually move to the US or any other nation through your company by virtue of just getting a transfer rather than actually resigning the company, coming back to do your masters, going through a student life again, and then struggling to find a job. Even if you find a job, struggling to get that H1B visa in the lottery, having that anxiety, and eventually saying, you know what, I give up, I'm going back. So why did we do all of this? Because in India, again, it's like the US. If you have a master's degree, it's okay, okay, good, but can you write code, right? That's what it matters. So I think that's one of the things that you have to really think about and pay attention to is, do you really want to let go of your good high-paying job and the social life and everything and move to the US just to make money in dollars? And I will make another video in the future that talks about what are the cost of living and expenses for a typical family in the US. Is, can you really save a lot of money or can you not save a lot of money, and what does that saving a lot of money really mean? What are some spending habits in the US and things like that. So, but hopefully this video gave you some good clarity on helping you make a decision if you want to go abroad and study and do that or not. And I also want to make sure that this does not in any way or means any way mean that I'm not encouraging you to take up higher education. You should. But I think you should be a little bit creative and strategic about it. If you're really, let's say, if you're really passionate about a master's degree, maybe you want it because you love collecting degrees, right? Maybe you want it because your parents want to say, my son or my daughter has a master's degree from a university abroad. Then maybe be smart about it, right? If you're already working at a company, then take up master's degree programs from reputable universities in Americas online. There's online degrees that you can actually do, which you'll get the exact same master's degree like as if you've attended here. University of Texas, the state I'm in, actually offers online master's programs. There's a lot of reputable brand name universities that offer online master's programs. There's literally no difference in doing that versus attending school here. So I think if your master's program is going to really help you and teach you, and you've assessed that, you've done that self-assessment already, then I would highly recommend don't resign from your job, a good well-paying job. I think work experience is actually a lot more important than educational degrees that you hold. And that's the way it has been, and that's the way it will continue to be. So education degrees might get you through the door, maybe, may not be, if you don't have work experience. But if you have work experience absolutely will get you through the door. In fact, it will help you break down the door too. So with that said, hopefully this video was helpful for you, helped paint a good picture. I'll try to create more videos like this and provide some guidance as I try to make this channel into a more lifestyle channel. So please make sure you like and subscribe, and please don't hesitate to leave a comment below if you have any more questions, or if you enjoyed this video. Happy to help, and see ya. Bye.